clams.
It does change your outlook.
It does.
Lehigh's winning. Plays about half full, and then by the start of the second half,
Oh, yeah.
there were two Duke fans at the bar, and everybody else was rooting for Lehigh. It was so much fun.
I remember being really sad over that, but unhappy as well because it's Lehigh.
Yep.
You know, yeah, but I grew up a Duke fan. That was the hard part. Like, then it was Lehigh, and then I, you know, immediately like jumped on their bandwagon. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah, everybody did. Everybody did. Yeah, that was so much fun.
March is fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I said, I don't follow it this year as much as I did in the past. It's just
Yeah,
time.
we're good already.
Not-
All right, may I have your attention, please? We'll call to order the committee meetings for March 26th. Mr. Hayes, Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sylvette, can you call the roll, please?
John Hayes.
Here.
Paul Anthony.
Here.
Ann Baum. Robert Brooks.
Here.
Ricky Gower.
Present.
Kevin Lott.
Here.
Mike Stershik.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any public comment?
Not at this time.
Okay, we'll move into the action items. First item on the list is approval of the meeting minutes of the January 22nd, 2026 meeting. I'd entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Mike, second by Ricky. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to said minutes? Nope. Hearing none, all those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, we'll go to the February 26th financials. Todd, you're up.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, we start off with our traffic. Had a few cancellations because of the weather, just a little bit.
So basically round numbers, 60 per month?
It was more in January, but yes, about 120.
Just round numbers. I think it was
Yeah, round
57.
numbers, yeah, 120. I think it's a little bit over 120, give or take. But all things considered, January and February were our third best on record. Last year, January and February were the second best on record. So all things considered, doing pretty well. A lot of those cancellations do impact the bus. So you can see that, and also we don't have United as well. So you can kind of see some of that traffic down. You'll probably see more of that later in the year, or maybe, no, more early in the year, right? Yeah, early because the walk's not there. So I think we got rid of it in September.
Yeah.
No updates on TSA checkpoints. This is the last one we gave from last month. Once the shutdown is over, we'll give you updated stuff, but this is through February 7th. Same where we were. Again, we talked about this last month. Month of February. So we had a pretty good month. Approximately 330K of net income. Obviously, there's no CARES. You can kind of see what's going on. Last year, pretty good as far as net income without CARES. Budget, we had a slight positive budgeted, but we're doing much better than that. Overall, year to date, we have a positive 405K of net income. Kind of cruising along. We had a negative number budgeted. A lot of that attributable to early weather that we kind of factor into the budget, but still, all things considered, after 2 months, we're doing pretty good. You can kind of see down there, year to date, just for January and February, is 369,000 of snow that we spent. Full budget is 492K. I'll talk about the winter and what that impact was, but hopefully, John gave me the okay the other day that we're done with snow for the whole year. So
No, for winter.
whoa.
The whole year includes November,
I'm trying to
December,
stretch it. I was trying to stretch it. Steve heard that. He's like, oh, okay. And this kind of gives you a feel, since we're talking winter, he gave that segue there. This is our worst winter on record. Again, you can see our budget for this year was 492K for the whole year. Winter season, we've spent 739,000 so far. So can't do much about it. Have to kind of deal with it, but it does impact a lot of our financials early in the year. What we did last year, part of the reason we show in December is we got some supplies early, some of that stuff to help us out because we wanted to get a little bit of a running start for 2026.
And that material, that was expensed last year?
Expense last year. When we could expense it last year, we could. You look like you're about
Yeah,
to.
I was gonna ask, what's the excess revenue over expense on ice? De-icing?
Excess? I don't know about excess, but we definitely got some additional de-icing revenue. Snow's a big expense around here.
Yeah.
So, we did get some additional de-icing revenue, and I'll talk about that when we go to cost centers, but
Okay.
it wasn't 739,000, just so you know.
This is our worst year. How did our net income compare to prior years?
So I just kind of talked about it here last year,
Yeah.
615. That was probably one of our better net incomes. So, if you go back even further, they were not as robust early in the year. So, like I said, all things considered, that's pretty good. Good question. Any other questions since I'm on a roll?
Yeah, in relation to the snow removal, you know, I know that I probably plowed my driveway 14 to 15 times. Is it?
You're higher.
From an expense standpoint, is it, you know, do the expenses go up when you have a lot of those little small events? My question is really irrelevant because you can't control it, but is it better to have a few big ones or those little, a lot of those little small, or does it no different? You know what I mean?
I'll defer to Steve or Tom on
Yeah,
that
we can
one.
certainly defer back to Steve on some of this, but it's so dependent on a number of variables. So if it snows Monday through Friday, you know, from 8 to 5.
Oh, okay.
You know, you have staff here. If you're bringing people in, you know, that's a little different. If it's a dry snow, it might be easier to move than a wet snow.
Understood.
If it's a dry snow, it might also drift across the runway all night, even though the snow's stopped, because we're out in the field here and we're just out plowing the same set of flakes over and over.
So there are so many variables.
There's a lot of
There's no
variables.
pattern.
So Steve, I don't know, I probably missed 25
No,
other things,
I
but
think that's all that answers.
Just for an example, the February storm where we got the 12 inches of snow and then the 5-degree temperatures for the highs for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
We basically picked up every snowflake out here and moved it for a week. So the crew, it happened started Sunday morning. We finished snow removal Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
The snowstorm we had in March where we got the blizzard, we ended up with about 5.5 inches here. We were done in 6 hours because of the temperatures.
Understood.
You know, the sun took away, 50% of the snow while we were
Yeah.
plowing.
Understood, yeah.
and some of those expenses too, we actually got into a position this year with so much snow that it didn't melt. We had to haul it away.
Oh, boy, yeah. Yeah, so there's so many variables. I just was curious.
It's tough to say, hey, with an inch of snow, it equates to,
Yeah,
because of those
right,
variables.
right. Yeah,
And,
interesting.
and to your question, usually we budget kind of typical
Yeah.
snow, and sometimes that works,
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't. The last couple of years, we've gotten hit.
Yeah.
Remember last year, we got hit pretty hard early, and we get hit pretty hard this year as well, so.
It helps understand what goes into all that, so that's helpful, yeah.
Any other questions on that? I mean, I know snow's a hot topic. And this is kind of breaking down cost centers, really kind of walk through these, parking, number one on the list, and then kind of walk in. And you can kind of always point out the bottom, airfield terminal. It really, part of the reason they're so negative is because of our subsidies that we have to do to kind of keep our rates competitive. We have those conversations regularly about our rates and charges, and that's part of our subsidy. And this year, there is no care, so it's, we're still subsidizing, but we don't have as much care to use for some of that subsidy. And this is kind of comparing the first 2 months of this year with the first 2 months of last year, just to kind of give you an idea by cost center. You can see parking is almost identical to what it was last year. And again, that's net income, that's after expenses and allocations and all that stuff. You can kind of say the same thing on aviation services, but then you get down to what's not there anymore. CARES, I miss CARES, I really do. I don't know why I miss it. I mean, you go down there again, you can see some of the subsidies here that we had last year as well. And then, who asked that question, right? Okay, there's the icing there. Net de-icing was 91 extra over the budget. I mean, there was some additional the icing, revenue that was budgeted, but this is over and above what was budgeted. So it wasn't 700 and some, it wasn't 300 and some over our budget, but hey.
700 wasn't over budget.
Right, but it was 300.
Yeah, 300.
So we're getting there. We'll take any extra revenue we can get. And what's nice about a lot of these when we focus on here is their revenue. I mean, I said all the time, we can't cut our way to success. We got to manage our expenses, but you need revenue to keep moving. Employee benefit number is really a function of we're covering the hours, and you'll see that later, but we're covering them with not as many full-time people. So that's part of the reason that the employee benefits are down. And something there. Kind of break it down here, personnel versus non-personnel. This is the one we're going to have to kind of focus on a little bit, is that non-personnel. Some of that's timing, but we're going to have to really start figuring out best ways to be more efficient now that we're out of the CARES era and airlines are starting to circle on what's going on with those expenses. And this is kind of what I was talking about there. So you can see our FTEs, full-time equivalents. So that's pretty much 40 hours a week. It's 239 of those folks, even though there is a mix between part-time and full-time. It's pretty much the same as what we had at the budget, exactly the same, but the mix is a little different. So even though we have less full-time employees, that's why we had the savings on the employee benefits. And part-time is really hours, so you can work more hours, but even though it's less people. This is just kind of breaking down where folks are at a particular point in time, just based on budget and counts. That's not really FTEs. Then we get into our cash. You can kind of see some of the yellow is always what's changed. The number in the yellow, number 11 there for July is our latest number for our airline settlement. We play around with that a lot. That's our latest number that we gave to our auditors. So hopefully that will stick. And these are just timing issues. You see that all the time on some of our capital items. They change from month to month. It's usually a big flow, but overall, over a longer time period, they usually work themselves out. But in the short run, they do change. Bringing it down here. And then here's our peers. We'll get the updated peers for 2025, probably around August is usually when we get it. So we'll update that once we get the updated stuff from this year, and we'll put it in there. And this is just kind of our pre-audit adjustments. I do want to thank Glenn, Frank, and John for meeting with our auditors today. They took the time to meet with them just to kind of go through their due diligence and ask some of the board members questions about the overall financials of the airport and operations. So this is just, like I said, our settlements are done. We've done all of our other stuff that we have to do at year end that take a little longer. Settlement takes a little longer, even though we come up with a number. Shane, the magician back there, wanted to give him 50 cents. I said give him more, right, Shane? Or was it the other way around? No, I'm just kidding. But we finalized our pension liabilities and year-end accrual. So those are the things that take a little longer at the end of the year, but all of those are in there. The net result is that we're probably going to end up higher than the number we gave you last month for the end of the year. But we'll give you the final number once it's all done. And then they are on site. I think today's their last day on site with the auditors. Does anybody have any questions?
We're planning on the audit report to the board at the May.
In the May, yes, we bring that to the May. Scott, our partner, will come in. He's been here for the finance committee meeting, and then he's usually on the phone for the board meeting.
Scott Nickerson, right?
Scott Nickerson, yes. Any questions, concerns? Again, it's early. I don't get too excited, but at least it's positive, considering all the snow and everything we had. Any questions?
Entertain a motion to accept the February 26th financial statements. Motion by Paul, second by Mike. Open it up for questions. Any additional questions or comments? Anybody online have any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the subject motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last on the agenda, or last action item, new business. Does anyone have any new business to bring before the committee today? Okay, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Let Ricky have it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we will now go to the executive committee. Any public comment, Sabette?
Not at this time.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion for approval of the minutes of January 22nd. Frank? Second. Please call the roll for the executive.
Glenn Reedman,
Yes.
Mike Stershik, Frank Fasciano,
Here.
John Hayes.
Here.
Paul Anthony.
I'm here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, and the approval of the minutes, let's do that again to make sure it's official. Frank, second by John. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And next, we'll have the approval of the Florio, Perucci, Steinhardt, Capelli, and Tipton LLC invoices. I'll take a motion for January and February. Paul, second. Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Discussion items, nominating committee chair appointment. I'm the chair of the nominating committee. We are putting a slate together, and the next committee meetings will announce the slate and then vote on the new slate at the April meeting. If you have any questions, or if anyone's interested, just see me after the meeting. Any new business? Any need for an executive session? Take a motion for adjournment.
Motion.
So moved. And then we'll go to Jim, Business Committee.
James Irwin.
Here.
Justin Grimshaw.
Here.
Frank Fasciano.
Here.
Kevin Surfoss. Jonathan Strauss.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Any public comment?
Not at this, actually, we do.
We do. This is from Richard Reppert for our business committee. Contacting you regarding the proposed adoption of a project labor agreement PLA for the parking garage project. Much like the responsible contractor ordinance RCO proposed in 2025, PLA is a restrictive measure that drives up project costs, excludes local contractors, and limits competitive bidding. Time and again, these ordinances have been shown to create more problems than they solve, steering work toward companies based on their affiliations rather than their performance. As the board overseeing work at LVIA, I would expect your goal is twofold: ensuring that quality local contractors work on your projects and securing the best competitive pricing possible. The PLA works against both of these objectives. By restricting which companies can bid, it narrows the pool of competition, raises costs, and often results in out-of-county contractors performing work that could otherwise go to local businesses who use and support LVIA every day. I strongly encourage the board to conduct further research into the adverse effects of restrictive ordinances like PLAs and RCOs before moving forward. Many local municipalities and counties that previously adopted an RCO have since repealed it after finding that the negative impact far outweighed any potential benefit. Creating what amounts to a monopoly on your projects serves no one's best interests, least of all the workers who are travelers that rely on LVIA. I would welcome the opportunity to meet with your committee to discuss this matter further. Please do not hesitate to reach out with any questions or comments. Richard Reppert, R-I-C-H-A-R-D, R-E-P-P-E-R-T, to the Business Committee.
Any other public comment?
Not at this time.
Approval of need a motion for the approval of the meeting minutes for January 22nd.
Motion.
Jonathan, is there a second?
Second.
Justin, all those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Capital project updates.
Mr. Chair. Morning, everybody. Go through the typical updates, a few here to touch upon. Airfield work, runway construction kicked back off earlier this week from the winter shutdown. Really working on the two ends of the runway, on the 2-4 end, working at night, and then currently on the 6 end, which I'll get into the area, they're working during the day. So again, continuing that forward. Kind of bring this up again, our navigational aids, the PAPI, which is the Precision Approach Path Indicator pilots use visually to make sure they're on the right glide path, is currently out of service. We've made some repairs and actually coordinating with the FAA to do a final flight inspection, likely later in April. We're trying to time it with the PAPIs that we're installing at Braden Air Park. so that they come in once and get them up and running at the same time. So working on that as well. In terms of runway construction, I mentioned on the 2-4 end, again, working in that kind of purple area, again at night. And again, later in April, they're going to be working on that Mauser bar, again with the FAA to get that flight inspection done as well. Package 6, which again is on the 6th end that they're working on. They're actually working a full 30-day taxiway Alpha closure between Alpha 6 and Alpha 7. So you can kind of see in the middle picture, aircraft have to back taxi around. So a lot of meetings coordinating with the tower and our stakeholders to make sure they're aware of that. When we do get into kind of the left side of taxiway Alpha 7, there'll be some multi-phase closures, likely during the day, but basically around the cargo schedule, since that's their only in and out into that area. So again, moving forward with that as well. Taxiway Alpha, still in winter shutdown. April 20th is when we're looking to restart. And again, that's the area east of runway 1331. They completed everything west of 1331 last year. The only thing that's left to do is the permanent marking, which they'll do probably in late April after they start. This one, again, really can only be started once all the other phases are done. So that's Q3 of this year. I'm just keeping that on there. In terms of cargo, continuing conversations with FHWA. We actually got some comments back from their headquarters on the draft, and actually today, this afternoon, have a call to kind of go through some of those to keep that process moving. And then, as I mentioned previously, the taxiway Delta airside component, looking to start that in the third quarter of this year as well. Again, scheduling with all the other airfield work that we're doing. In terms of the parking garage, really continuing forward with the design, anticipating getting some of that next month, but still a lot of approvals to go through. MPDS permit approval is in process. Had some meetings at the township for the land development approvals. Another one in April as well. So continuing to move that forward. In terms of our comprehensive paving, then we talked about this before, the employee lot 2 expansion and some of the lighting and powering some of our GSE equipment. Really the last piece we're waiting on is the light poles. They're anticipated to get here April 20th. There was a delay in some manufacturing issue that they had, but everything else is done. Those pedestals in the middle are up and running, is basically for a lot of our de-ice equipment and any other equipment that needs to plug in. The receptacles are right in there, so that's a good piece to have. And then I know I mentioned before, the final markings in the employee lot will be done this spring as well. So looking to coordinate that, again, with our employees and stakeholders that utilize that lot now. This one new from last time, but I know we've kind of mentioned it was coming. This is the entrance road realignment, or really that overflow booth demo project. So the contractor started earlier this month. You can see really putting in a lot of the conduits and the electrical rerouting that's required, since a lot of the electrical in that area feeds directly through the booth. So we got to get it out before we demolish it. Really going through some of the submittal review, looking at the parks, which is the parking and access revenue control system, since we're making some adjustments to that overflow parking entrance areas, and really just coordinating with the contractor and parking and a lot of our stakeholders on access through the area, since again it impacts folks coming through there in terms of using overflow, rental cars, employees, stakeholders. So coordinating that, given some of the parking that we saw over spring break, really just timing when they can do some of those closures. So working through that as well. And that's about a 3-month project duration. So moving that forward. IT offices really at the tail end of the project. Majority of the work is completed. Really what's left now is working with our maintenance department. They completed all the painting, put in some of the cabinets that were required, some countertops for their little break room area. The above ceiling inspection with the township was done earlier this week. Really waiting the final balancing report just to close that one out. So that one should be completed in April and get IT in that space. Here's just a couple pictures. Again, new carpet, ceiling. We've kind of talked about previously, lighting. And you kind of see on the left there, the cabinets just need the final countertop on that as well. And moving on to Braden, this project actually kicked off last week as well. with the runway edge lights, the cans and conduits on the east side of the runway, so top of the runway here on the image, getting that all in. Looking to do a runway closure later this month on the 3/6 end where it impacts the gas line right on the runway edge. So we got to coordinate with the TC Energy on that just to make sure they're present when they do that. But again, you can see kind of the progress, putting all the ENS controls, getting in, again, some of the cans, the conduit, and actually that picture on the bottom, they actually had to bore under the runway to get conduit, across. So that was completed earlier this week as well. Then in terms of the updates, I know we didn't go through it in February, but there are about 4 grants that we got the final closeouts on, so I took those off. There was 1 on the runway, and then there was the 3 Queen City grants that we got the final reimbursement closed. So those are taken off the list. And again, just continuing to monitor. Now that we're starting up again, obviously the expended project costs will go up, and then following up with our grant receipts as well. So that's really all I have. Happy to answer any questions.
Brian, here at the airport here, are we on a master MPDS permit? Or is it project by project?
It's project by project, but what we've done, working with the Conservation District, is really amending our runway program since it's the largest one.
Yeah, so every time we alter the runway, you're just amending an existing.
Correct. And we're amending, so with the parking garage, some of the other projects we saw were amendments, I think Amendment 7, that we're including in that piece.
Is the parking structure, you said you're amending in that piece?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And that wouldn't have a huge impact because it's already impervious.
Correct. Yeah, what we've worked with the Conservation District is since, campus-wide, we're such a large property owner, all these some little projects, how does it communally go into stormwater calculations and requirements? So we're not doing some one-off projects or,
When do you expect the approval on the MPDS for the deck?
I believe in April, we actually got it expedited, and the Conservation District only had 1 iteration of the technical review. So April, beginning of May, I believe we should be getting that.
And then what's the next step after that?
In terms of the other approvals, once we have that, it's the township, the land development, getting all the maintenance agreements and everything in place.
Okay.
So still, again, some permitting. And I believe Planning Commission is currently in their review, but they don't finalize it until Conservation District gives their sign off.
Sense.
Great. Thank you.
Project labor agreement.
Do we want to start with executive session for legal advice?
Sure.
And Katie should have joined also.
These are the folks on the line.
Yes.
We need a motion for executive session.
Could we do a motion for executive session?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Jonathan?
Back on, and I'll do my announcement so that.
Good.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
Before you start, thank you. The committee took an executive session for purposes of legal advice, and during the session, no votes, deliberations, or decision-making took place. And we do have a public comment. It is limited to 3 minutes, but we welcome your remarks. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you again. Appreciate your time this morning. My name is Marissa Bankert. I'm the president CEO of the Associated Builders and Contractors of Eastern Pennsylvania. We were established in 1962. We represent a lot of counties, including Lehigh and the surrounding areas here in Eastern Pennsylvania. And I'm here to provide public comment, excuse me, on the discussion item surrounding the PLA. I wanted just to let you know that our organization generally opposes PLAs, and we do that for a number of reasons. First of all, we believe that this restricts competition by effectively exclusively eliminating merit shop contractors that represent approximately 90% of the construction workforce in Pennsylvania. We believe that it increased project costs by limiting the pool of qualified bidders, and we believe it creates an unfair advantage for unionized contractors paying taxpayer funds. In our region, mandatory PLAs harm small to medium businesses who are very much the fabric of our organization and of the local construction industry. Minority and women-owned businesses are predominantly merit shops, so it disproportionately impacts them as well, and skilled workers who have chosen not to join trade unions. Taxpayers ultimately bear the reduced competition costs. Don't just take my word for it. The Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court has also ruled that that this violates Pennsylvania's competitive bidding laws. In a decision on December 5th, 2025, the court noted that a PLA must be established in truly extraordinary circumstances before any PLA should be mandated. And more fundamentally, that the court agreed that a PLA clearly favors union contractors and that when competitive bidding is used and procedures followed emasculate the benefits of such bidding, judicial intervention is proper. I say all of that to let you know that, we believe that this issue continues to rise, and we want to make sure that our merit shop contractors have access to be able to bid in these types of circumstances. Finally, I would conclude just by letting you know that we exist to promote fair and open competition in public construction because we believe it serves in the taxpayers' best interest. The workers and the communities throughout the region are excited to work on projects in their localities, and we believed that a merit-based selection process rather than discriminatory labor agreements will deliver the highest quality construction at the most competitive prices while providing opportunities for all qualified contractors and construction workers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim, you want to continue with your agenda, please?
Sure. Any new business? Motion to adjourn? Second?
Okay, we're adjourned till noon on Tuesday.